Bill Glose is an award-winning writer whose honors include the F. Scott Fitzgerald Short Story Award, the Dateline Award for Excellence in Journalism, and the Hero's Voice Award for Veterans Poetry. Two of his books have been finalists for the Library of Virginia's Book Award, and those books were Postscript to War and All the Ruined Men, which is his most recent book. It's not poetry, but it's a wonderful series of short stories. He's the author of 5 books of poetry and 2 chapbooks. He was also the editor of a story anthology, 10 Twisted Tales. He's written hundreds of articles, short stories, and his poems, which have appeared in numerous publications. And I'm delighted to introduce Bill, who is the past president pro temp of the Virginia Poetry Society of Virginia, as well as, I think, a past vice president for the Eastern Region of Poetry Society of Virginia. He also, I want to mention that he travels all around Virginia filming other poets and has a separate YouTube channel for mine. So he posts a number of wonderful videos from poets. So Bill, take it away, please.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Kathleen. Yeah, so I thought, living so close to the coast, I thought I'd start off with a poem about the weather, something we can all relate with, a poem about hurricane season. In this poem, I'm going to mention the Francisco de la Gamba. That was a Spanish galleon that was unearthed in the sand dunes on Virginia Beach when one hurricane passed by. And then also something else I mentioned is about beach grass. Many people don't know that beach grass has roots that burrow down about 50 feet into the ground, and that's how they're able to weather those storms. So this is hurricane season. Slow, hot breath of autumn brushes honeyed heads of sea oats. But beach grass isn't fooled. It knows beyond a billion curling caps of foam, thunder prowls, volume rising, singing its song of broken bones. And so roots burrow in search of something solid. Swirling eye glances this way and that, sets a course through stilt-raised homes with plywood tacked over windows, as if that might help. Same wind that capsized the Francisco de la Gamba 100 years ago shears off the Virginia Beach dune in which she lays interred. Bristled timbers of her snapped-off stern as pointed as a red flag warning. Before we got started here, we were all talking about our former president of the Poetry Society, Terry Cox Joseph, and what a wonderful artist she is. The painting just above Kathleen's head there, that's what sparked the conversation. That is a painting done by Terry. In this next poem, In the Land of Mermaids, I talk about the mermaids that you can see all throughout Norfolk. Well, Terry created 3 of those mermaids that are in Norfolk. So just a little side note there. This is In the Land of Mermaids. Oh, and this is a villanelle, a form I truly love, but something I have a lot of difficulty creating. This one took me so many drafts to be able to come up with. The Swiss were first to show their city's pride. Zurich's leonine seal coming to life in a parade of painted fiberglass statues promenading outside. Chicago took the artistic idea worldwide. O'Leary's cows marching the lakefront arcade in a mooing procession of windy city pride. America was enamored, and every city tried to replicate the concept with creatures It displayed a regional theme they could exhibit outside. Baltimore's crabs, Eugene's ducks, Gloucester's beehives. Norfolk's streets soon teemed with mermaids from Chesapeake Bay, ideal for waterman's pride. One's tresses bound by fishnet, another's dyed ocean blue, sequined with seashells. They masquerade, oblivious to ogling foot-bound throngs, swim outside in painted costumes, all leaning to one side, outstretched in postures that can never be unmade. This is how shoremen proclaim maritime pride, enticing the uncatchable to pose on pedestals outside.
Thank you, Bill. And if you've never seen those statues, they're amazing. In the Outer Banks, I can't remember whether it's Kill Devil Hills or Kitty Hawk, but there are horses and
winged horses.
Yes, winged horses, but the mermaids are awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So a friend of mine, Dawn West, she comes to a lot of the poetry readings in person. She's not here on Zoom, but she never reads herself. She calls herself professional audience. Well, she went on a long walk across the state with me, and one of the places we stopped at was a glass shop where we were able to create some sun catchers that we hung in our windows at home. That comes up in this. Also, what comes up in this, something I think a lot of us can relate to, is having a pill caddy organize your week. So this is called Things Left Unsaid. What I meant to say this morning, as you divvied pills into a plastic case with slots for days of the week, was that sparkles dancing on your cheek, light refracted from the sun catcher in the window, reminded me of our trip to Pennington Gap, that steep drive up the mountain, nosing through clouds until we kissed the very blue of heaven. Those were the days of yes, when we looked past strangling vines of kudzu to notice the rock face of a grandfather speaking from a wall of slate, his shadowed mouth a cupful of promise. No wonder we stopped at the glass studio whose sign advertised lessons. Fearlessly, you plunged your dye-dipped gather into the kiln's glowing heart, furnace hot enough to transmute bones to chalk. When you blew, the spinning rod and molten glass expanded into a silver-streaked globe. I could tell you believed anything was possible. That, what I meant to say this morning, but didn't. Gazing absently at your hands as each pill plunked into its proper bin.
Thank you for those images, Bill. You always have such a great way of painting pictures in poetry.
Well, funny you should say that, because I have an actual picture to share with this last poem of mine. So when Dawn,
do you want to share your screen?
Oh, I was just,
okay.
I've got it here. So when Dawn and I went to Yorktown, where all the cannons and monuments and everything were, we brought this new kite with us, and she went running up and down while I was taking pictures of her, and all the people, all the tourists there were staring at us like we were crazy. So that comes up here. So this is titled Photo Op. Dawn says a purple sky means the heart of someone you know has been bruised. in a grassy sward where tourists cluster around placards in reverence. Waning sun strikes revolutionary cannons, shadows thrown long at my feet. Instead of aiming my camera at iron barrels or the zigzag split rail fence forming a skirmish line beside the gravel parking lot, I capture Dawn as she runs, laughing, towing her new red kite, which bobbles on a string like bumper-tied cans behind a couple just married. Shaped like a biplane with a fluttering tail, the kite never rises more than 10 feet, corkscrewing in her wake as she races back and forth, chasing fog-wreathed memories of how easy it had been in pastures of our youth. Every remembered whim capturing air to climb into clouds, trying like hell to carry us along.